and welcome to
Gank That Drank!
A supernatural drinking game podcast. This is season 1, episode 9, Hell House and Something Wicked.
Of course, you guys know that in every episode of Gank That Drank, we are going to assign ourselves each at least 2 drinking game rules. At least. Because sometimes we gotta go more. And we play along with 2 episodes of the sometimes hilarious, sometimes frightening, always extraordinarily handsome television show Supernatural. I love when I really don't read them beforehand.
You don't read them ahead of time, and I just put in extra adjectives for you.
Oh, it's amazing.
After we watch and play along with the episodes, we're going to come back here, hang out with you, and discuss them while most definitely tipsy. And we will evaluate the rules we played in our quest to curate for you the perfect Supernatural Season 1 drinking game. I am Chrissy.
And I am Nate.
And tonight we're watching episode 17, Hell House.
What?
Aired March 30th, 2006. 3.76 million viewers.
Yeah.
Something Wicked, which was episode 18, aired April 6th, 2006. 3.6 million viewers. So they are just sliding down the rating scale.
How did we ever make it to a season 2?
Let alone
the CW was
season 12 right now they're on?
Yeah. They're like, we believe in you. After your 3.6 and going along. Hey guys, spoiler alert though. Yeah. We're going to be discussing the episodes in their entirety and certainly in no fit state to avoid spoilers. So be prepared to hear all the grisly details of something that, listen, it's been out for 12 years. You should have watched it by now.
You should have. And I feel like we don't have to do that spoiler alert anymore. Like, we're in episode 9. Yeah. We're almost all the way through.
Once people start tweeting us about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So what rules are we playing tonight?
Oh, I am playing one of my favorite rules. That is broken furniture, 1 drink, and that is from... We played it in... It says murder furniture on here.
Murder furniture? What?
Yeah, it says there's... one of the times we played it, it has like a 1... You know, it only happened once, but it says murder furniture.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
What episode was it?
Could not tell you. It doesn't say on here.
All right. Sorry, my notes leave a little
bit
to be
desired. I don't know, but it's fun.
Sometimes.
It's fun. I like it.
That one's an all-star, yeah. I'm going to play Sammy Gets Shamed for Going to Stanford, which we played in episode 4, Hook and Bugs.
Nice. Okay. This one is Someone Dies. 2, which is 1 drink if someone dies. 2, if you can't remember the name of the person who died, which is an Educating Geeks rule. We played it in episode 3. Dead
in the Water and Phantom Traveler, yeah?
Something, it says Skin.
Oh, Skin and...
Mary and Skin.
Bloody Mary and Skin.
Bloody Mary and Skin, yeah.
All right. I also got Dean Ogle's A Woman, Take 1 Drink. We played it in episode 5, Home and Asylum, and it never happened. So we'll see. And then, is that both of yours?
Yep.
Okay, then we're both playing Take a Drink when we see or reference Dad's journal, the journal rule.
Oh.
Of course, we're going to keep playing Sammy.
Yep.
We're going to keep playing that damn Easter egg thing.
If we ever pay attention to it.
We never find, somebody
Maybe
help us out.
Maybe today's the day.
Maybe today's the day. Something else that we're going to talk about. Let's talk about what we're drinking.
Okay.
And let's talk about why that's what we're drinking and why episode 9 and 10 are going to be, well, maybe not episode 9, but episode 10 is going to be extra special.
Is it going to be extra special?
Well, we'll be 4 episodes. So basically what we're doing is we're doubling up. We're recording 2 episodes today.
Yes.
It is the day. And so we're going to be doubling up on our day drinking.
Yes, we are day drinking right now. For the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not for the first time in our lives.
Well, no.
But for the first time on Gank That Drank.
Could you imagine if we've never day drank before and we decided to record ourselves after?
It would be like we never went to a Renaissance festival.
I would want to record during the hangover after the day drinking. It's like 8 o'clock and we're recording and we're just miserable. Mm-hmm. That would be the fun.
That's
fun
next
time.
Season.
Yeah.
So what are we drinking?
We are drinking the unusually delicious fire roasted Bloody Mary mix and marinade called Choco Flaco.
Wait, Choco Flaco?
Yeah.
Is there chocolate?
I don't think so. It's all natural, dairy-free, gluten-free, no HFCS, non-GMO, kosher, chocoflacosocial.com.
I've never had a Bloody Mary before, so...
This is a Bloody Maria.
Oh, okay.
So...
All right, very exciting. All right, well, we are off to watch one of my favorite episodes, Hell House, and whatever the other one is.
Something Wicked.
Something Wicked,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, we'll see you on the other side.
Whoosh.
Ba, 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 ba. And we're back.
Woo!
Woo! All right, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting with Hell House. This is definitely one of my all-time favorites. It's so good.
It's already a must-watch. Just absolutely a must-watch.
100%.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is that there is a haunted house that teens go into, and they get scared because they see the hanging body of a young woman, and they sort of tell the legend of Mordecai.
Mordecai Murdoch.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Who...
Great-grandfather of Daredevil. Of Matthew Murdoch.
Oh, okay. So they heard this legend about how Mordecai... Murdoch, thank you. He couldn't feed his young daughters during the Depression, so he hung them one by one, and now the house is haunted, and if he finds you there and you're a girl, he strings you up. So, of course, Sam and Dean go to investigate. We learn that Sam found out about it on a paranormal website called Hellhounder? Hellhounds.com.
Hellhoundline.org.
Something. And they go to investigate. They don't find anything except for...
A weird symbol
and the ghost facers.
Oh, that's right.
They're not calling themselves the ghost facers yet, though, are
yet.
they? No.
Not yet.
So he meets Ed Zedmore and Harry Stans. Or wait, they have Ghostbuster last names. So it's Ed Zedmore and Harry... It's Spangler.
Spangler, there we go.
Yeah, Egon's last name.
Yeah.
Who are like, they have this really funny thing where they're like, oh, this is an EMF and y'all are amateurs and you need to get out of our way because we're ghost hunters. But
paranormal investigators.
Yeah. So Sam and Dean think there's nothing there until a young girl goes into the Hell House. Yeah. On a dare and actually dies. But this time, Mordecai has an axe, and his wrists are slit, which I don't know how they noticed that.
Well, that was after they went in after she died.
Okay.
Right. Because he hung her, because that's what drew them back in, was that she had been hanged. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, okay, well, now we got to go back in. And then when they encountered him at night, because that's when they snuck in, because the cops are outside the house. Mm-hmm. And that's when they get the ghost facers caught by the cops. So yeah, it's when they go back in at night after she's been killed that all of a sudden he has an axe and his wrists are slit.
So they realize that the ghost... They realize in a sexy, shirtless Sammy scene... Mm-hmm. Oh my. That it's a tulpa, which is a Tibetan thought ghost.
Yes.
Thought monster.
So it's the more people believe in the legend, the more the legend becomes real, and if the legend changes, then the actual thing changes. The tulpa changes.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, so they come up with a plan to try and change the legend to say, this ghost can totally be killed by 45 caliber pistols. They get sort of lazy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't spread fast enough, and they just kill it by burning the fucking house down.
Why was that not the plan to begin with?
Yeah.
It can't leave the house.
Well, that was an assumption that they made that it couldn't leave the house.
But it was in the legend that was written online.
Okay.
I think.
And so it ended up being that the kid who started the rumor just painted a bunch of symbols and didn't know what they were. And one of them was Blue Oyster Cult, and the other one was this Tibetan symbol.
Yeah. Just throw it in there.
Of the tulpa.
What happened? So at the beginning, the girl that they find dead, that was the record store dude's like girlfriend,
cousin,
right?
his
like
cousin
from TCU came out. How did she do such a good job of pretending that she was hanged?
They show her putting makeup on herself. I don't know, but
because I mean, she was hanging there for a minute.
Yeah.
And then how does that guy go back in and like cut her down?
I don't know, man.
Because the plan on their side of it is weird. Like, did she go back to TCU and just like, I had a fun weekend pretending to be dead with my
What'd you do this weekend?
cousin.
Oh, I hung out with my cousin.
Literally hung out with my cousin.
I like the idea, though, like, that's the soul of all urban legends, though, is that who did you hear it from? Some guy who heard it from some guy who heard it from his cousin, who swears he was there the whole time, you know, saw it firsthand, and, like, that's what urban legends are. And so I really like this story as, like, if you believe in it enough.
Right.
This thing will become true. So is the real bad guy in this episode the internet?
Ooh. 2006
Which,
internet.
by the way, like, I added some new drinking game rules just during this episode. I added some, wrote them down. I'm going to stick them in the thing for next time. For the last episode, I guess we can carry them over into season 2. But, like, Sam apparently gets Wi-Fi everywhere he goes.
Small town in Texas, correct?
At a cheeseburger stand.
At the cheeseburger stand, at the morning diner, at the hotel in 2006.
Inside
in
of Baby.
Backwoods, East Texas.
Yeah. He just has the strongest Wi-Fi signal ever.
On a very poor laptop.
So I added a drinking game rule, take a shot anytime you're like, how is Sam getting Wi-Fi?
How does Sam get Wi-Fi?
In the early seasons. Like,
yeah,
obviously
it's not plugged in.
No,
Like,
it's
because internet
2006.
cafes in 2006, you had to, like, plug in your laptop to the internet still.
No.
Yeah.
No, we had Wi-Fi in 2006. But it wasn't everywhere.
No, it was not as
You were mostly plugging yourself
ubiquitous
into...
as it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, YouTube was invented
I'm not
around
an
that
internet
time.
scientist. All I
Or
know
historian.
is that, like, I can't get good Wi-Fi signals at the McDonald's. So how is he getting them at a burger joint?
In Backwoods, Texas.
The burger joint is paying for a wireless modem, and they're just giving everyone the password.
Yeah.
Anyway. We also get in this episode a bunch of adorable pranks.
Yes.
This is the episode where the boys start pranking each other. And I, like, all their pranks are just so, like, cute and sweet and innocent. But Sammy's...
are super...
His face when he
childish.
knows that, like, Dean's about to uncover his prank is just so cute. Like, you really have to give credit to Jared Padalecki because it is just so fucking precious.
Yeah.
I live for that face.
Turning the car stereo up all the way.
That's
so
and
when
he's
he
like,
gets there.
it was loud.
And Deans are just mean-spirited.
What did Dean do?
Dean had
He put itching powder.
The itching powder one. The first one was like fun with the spoon in the mouth while he was driving. That's what started the whole thing. But then the itching powder, that one was kind of
gross.
Yeah, like don't do that to someone.
Don't do that to someone.
Do that to someone. But yeah, no, the prank war was fun.
It was,
I
I really like this episode because they're, you know, obviously the Ghost Facers are super nerds.
Yeah.
And they're named after Ghostbusters, but they also say so many wonderful lines, like they're like, "Sweet Lord of the Rings," and WWBD.
What would Buffy do?
What would Buffy do?
And
the little one is like, she's just stronger than me. So
the little one,
great.
who I love, later on when he comes into the when they come into the show, he takes on kind of like a bigger personality. But in this one, he's so meek and mild.
He is.
That actor is from one of my favorite movies when I was a teen, which is Eurotrip. So right around that time, I think Eurotrip was actually came out around the same time. So he looks like he did back when that movie came out. Anyway,
so one of the actors too, the guy who plays Craig, who works at the record store, he's in an episode of Psych, where I just saw this episode. That's why it's fresh in my mind. He plays a dude who poses as a high school student so he can go to like a fancy prep school and murder somebody.
Of course.
That's neither here nor there.
So no, I love this episode, and I love that the Ghost Facers in Supernatural are kind of like what's the name of the trio?
The Lone Gunman?
The Lone Gunman, yes, in X-Files. I like how that's kind of how they get treated later on. Obviously, this is like the introduction to them, but such a fun character, like recurring side characters, which Supernatural has a lot of.
The ghost facers, they always frustrate me because they've seen these ghosts and they never change they're never just like, oh, we should definitely listen to Dean and Sam because they know what they're doing and we're idiots. But but obviously that would totally undermine their characters. Here's what I want to know too. So both times after the girl hangs herself, for realsies, they have to like lure the cops away in order to sneak into the building, but then the cops never come back.
When the gunshots go off.
So many gunshots.
Both
axe-wielding maniacs are flying around the place, and the cops are not ever peeking back in to check on what's happening.
No. And the cops in the asylum episode, right? They stay outside. They never go like inside the asylum, correct?
No. The one does. That's how he gets possessed.
Right. So the one he goes inside the asylum. Then in this episode, the cops just stay outside. They don't go in to the haunted house. Like, but can you imagine being that officer and being told like you got to watch this house in the middle of nowhere that is also haunted?
And a girl just hanged herself.
Right.
Or got hung.
And there's teenagers who are coming from all around trying to get into this house because to get killed or whatever.
Teenagers love getting killed.
They love getting killed.
They can't get enough.
And here you are, and you get like duped. Both of you get duped.
Yeah.
So easily.
By what is basically like a big mouth Billy Bass singing
a racist
fish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I wonder if Heath would think this was also a cute date to be like, I'm going to take you to this haunted house, the Hell House. I'm going to take you to Hell House.
There's a group of the kids at the beginning.
It was like four. It was like 3 or 4 kids each time.
But it was obviously the prank by record store.
And the second time that
Craig.
the girl who died didn't want to make out with. She chose Dare, and she either had to go steal a jar from Murderfarter's basement or make out with a dude.
Which... The dude, come on. Don't make that the Dare. Don't make it to make out with you. Don't put that pressure on someone.
Yeah, that's very not cool. But in 2006, we didn't know better. All right.
Yeah, you're right.
And like, again, lesson learned, don't go, like, if some place is haunted, don't go there.
And especially if it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
this place looked terrifying.
No,
they joke that it, like, lacks curb appeal, but that's, like, the kind of place where you just look and you go, no. That is straight up haunted by the ghosts of millions of years, and
and especially if they have this urban legend attached to it. I remember so back in the old days, it's kind of different now, but at the Phoenix Zoo, they in one of the exhibits they used to have this like it was like a fur trapper's cabin where they kind of showed you an authentic fur trapper's cabin, what it looked like back in like the early days of Arizona, and you could walk in it and everything. And I remember when I was really, really young, someone told me that either like the person, it was in a real cabin and someone used to live in there and they were dead now, or like someone basically told me a ghost story about this cabin, and I to this day am afraid to go inside of it.
I would never go inside of it.
Yeah, I'm afraid to go inside. But even as a little kid, like I got this like weird like feeling of dread when I would even walk up next to it. Although,
like if someone was like, "Do you want to stay in this haunted hotel?" I'd be like, "Yes,
oh, absolutely,
I will go there."
Yeah,
I guess because there's other people there. I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't know. I would still get a creepy feeling like inside me if I stayed in a haunted hotel though, and I've wanted to.
Once for I think our second anniversary, possibly Dorian and I went to stay on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, which is haunted, and we did like a ghost tour and stuff, and then I made him sleep with the lights on.
Nice.
So, all right.
So let's go on to episode 18.
Something wicked.
So this is an interesting episode. There's a lot of talking in this episode.
There is.
So this one is basically we get I got it confused with an X-Files episode at the beginning because there's this little girl and she's going to sleep and she's got this tree that the branches are far too close to her window. No one trims them, and
it's not safe.
Instead of the tree coming in like an X-Files, which is a thing that happens, it's this what is it called? A
Striga.
Striga. The Striga.
It's basically a Dementor.
Comes in and sucks the life out of these kids and gives them some form of cancer or pneumonia or something.
Dementor's kiss.
It comes in and takes this little girl, which then Sam and Dean, they get drawn to this because Dad sent them. Dad sent them coordinates. So it's to this little town in Wisconsin.
Dad sent them coordinates in the ultimate fuck you, I told you so way. Yeah. Which we'll get to. Carry on.
Yeah. So, and that's where we get an interesting look. I think this is an interesting episode because this episode does center around an event, kind of seminal event in the young life of Dean. Mm-hmm. And Sammy doesn't remember it, which is weird because the Striga, when it comes in, obviously you said it's a Dementor, sucks life out of kids, and then they go into comas and dies, and it just goes from town to town in the Midwest United States, dating back to 1893, which we find out when Sammy does all his research in the machine that used to be at libraries that I don't know what it's called. Microfiche that slides back and forth. And they think at first Dean thinks it's going to be this old woman that he finds in the hospital on their way to very easily getting to the pediatrics unit, by the way, for two dudes with sketchy IDs who the nurse is like wary of. She's just like, yeah, oh, you want to go see the unit with all the kids? Go right ahead, strange man who refuses to show me his ID.
Be careful. We keep one old lady up there.
Look out.
Watch out for Susan.
Across from the dialysis
She's
room.
real grumpy.
And so this woman, and he walks by and the crucifix is upside down and she's looking all sinister. So they're thinking it's a witch. They don't know what's kind of causing all of this. They find out that it's this Striga, and the way they find out is when he's looking at the microfiche, there is the picture of the doctor that is treating all these kids in 1893 is also with a kid. So they realize it's this guy.
It's a bad dude.
Amidst all of this that's going on, in that you have Dean having these flashbacks, which are cool.
Yeah, Dean would just like sort of gaze into the middle distance and check out for a minute. And then we see the flashback, and I like to just like, he was standing at that counter checking into that motel for like 40 minutes, and the lady's eventually like,
hey,
you okay?
You good, buddy?
I could tell you were having a flashback, so I didn't want to interrupt.
You just had a Scrubs moment there, guy. So he has these flashbacks of when Dad was on a hunt. He had to watch Sammy, and the Striga got in and got Sam. Was getting to Sammy before John came in and shot it and got it to go away, but it didn't actually kill it. So Dean has dealt with this, and the reason.
Why didn't it recognize? I guess because they were children.
They were,
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they were children.
I mean,
it's not going to
realize my own stupidness.
But it hasn't come about since then, is what he says. That this is the first time it's appeared in how many 20 whatever years, and they had the picture of what I thought when I'm like I think it's such a cool little mark is on the outside of the little girl, and the first little girl that kind of this thing affects is this long handprint, and that's what kind of tips Dean off, and is like a rotted handprint in a wood windowsill, and that's what tips him off because he's seen it before. And so I like how they build that. I think that's cool. I think
it's a good episode.
Yeah, I think it's a really good episode because it's a scary villain, and so it's this Dr. Heidecker who then, instead of confronting him in the hospital because he forgot his clip.
Well, also because you have to kill it while it's actively feeding.
Yeah.
Like it has to have that whole Dementor thing where the mouth is open and it's sucking the life force out of you. You have to get it in that moment or nothing you do will kill it.
And apparently a headshot in that moment of some sort.
I guess so.
I don't know. But that's what it seemed like they were trying to get. And they rope in the little... So then, as Chrissy said, they check into this motel, which is owned by a woman who has two small boys. And the little boy gets sick, so then they use the older boy as the bait.
Yeah.
They use the kid as bait for not maybe the first time, but definitely not the last.
That they use a kid as bait?
First time we've used the kid as bait?
Yeah, and Dean's whole thing is well, don't you want to possibly help save your brother?
Yeah.
And this kid is the same as Dean was, where it's you're responsible for parenting, basically, your baby brother. We know your mom doesn't have good life skills because she completely trusts her children and her business with two dudes she's never met before.
Ever. They just have trusting faces.
They have handsome faces.
Everyone trusts them.
Handsomeness makes moms let you care for their children.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing as happens in the episode where they go back to their house and the lady's just well, I don't like it, but okay, come into my house. two dudes I just met. Sure, look after my kid, take care of my business. I gotta go. Never. No. But in their flashback, the boys are staying in a bowling themed hotel room, which is every dream I've ever had come true. There's like hanging bowling pin curtains, and then there's like photos of bowlers all over, and I love it.
And in Hell House, they stay in a Western themed hotel
They do.
room. Yes.
Oh,
so we get.
so we're getting there. Like it's getting good.
The themed hotel rooms are coming in. The classic rock is coming in as well. We're getting some more songs. So, and in the end, they get rid of the Striga.
They kill it. The life forces fly in reverse order out of its mouth hole,
right.
And all the kids get better.
Yeah, and for some, and we don't get to see. I want to see the epilogue to this episode because the doctor, all of a sudden, Dr. Heidecker's gone. He's not there anymore.
And all the kids just started getting better.
Weird, isn't that
so
strange?
Weird.
No one's. And
he was never heard from again.
Ever.
So strange. Yeah, but I also like whenever there are flashbacks like this, and like there's a lot over time. It's the same. It's at least the same kid Dean as in the Christmas special, which is in season 3. But their age difference sometimes in the flashbacks, to me, it's really how far apart are they in age?
Especially when they get to the like high school flashbacks, it seems like the disparity is quite large.
I have no idea.
In some of them. Later
Look,
on.
I don't know. Somebody out there knows what the age difference is supposed to be, and I want you to explain it to me.
Yeah, because I don't know either.
Because sometimes it seems like they're 10 years apart.
And sometimes it seems like they're 2 years apart.
Yeah.
At most.
But Jensen Ackles did just turn 40.
No.
Yeah.
Ugh.
40?
Ew.
Yeah.
40?
Yeah.
I did not think he would be that old.
Yep. I also, on this one, wrote a new drinking game rule, which is that you have to take, like, finish a drink or something whenever a stranger just gives out too much information.
Bond villains it? Or like when the police officer at the beginning of... Was it this one where he's just like...
It's Hell House, where he's like...
Hell House, right.
Sam and Dean just walk up to an active crime scene where they're wheeling the body out on a gurney, and he's like, what happened? Oh, a young lady hung herself. Let me tell you everything I know.
Straight A student, absolutely everything was wonderful in her life, and she decided to hang herself.
We can't figure it out. Who are you? Okay. Thank you, citizen. Carry on. We're just going to give out the details of our active investigation when we know, as police officers who have watched Law and Order and Criminal Minds, that... criminals skulk around crime scenes. But then it's in Something Wicked where they walk up to a woman on a park bench watching her child play, and they're like, where's all the kids? And she's like, oh, you haven't heard? 5 or 6 kids in this town have gotten sick and people think it's contagious. And like, yes, single man at the
park. 2 dudes at the park of children. Yeah.
Every mom knows if you see a single dude at a kid's park and there's no kid, that's a predator.
Yeah. Never.
Okay. Also, in this episode, so we have the Ghostbusters references as well as all the nerdy pop culture references in Hell House. But in Something Wicked, when Sammy is naming all the places that the Striga has struck, the Striga has struck. He's naming the cities where the monorail has been before Springfield in The Simpsons. Ogdenville, North Haverbrook, and Brockway are the cities that the monorail goes to before it comes to Springfield.
It's an amazing catch.
Yeah.
It's an amazing catch. And also, we brought it up at the beginning, but the old woman who they thought was going to be the villain is just an old lady in a room, and her crucifix somehow got put upside down. Someone put it upside down, and she's like...
And if she's blind,
Irish,
how does she know?
And she's Irish. She has a weird Irish brogue and says... I was sleeping with my peepers open.
Yeah. Oh, also, what's the word that Dean says? Persqueeter?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. He's like, I'm going to kick him in his persqueeter. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. I love it. All right. So how did our rules play? It was kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
So the Dean rule where Dean ogles a woman, that has never happened. And we tried to play it twice. So obviously that's not a good rule. Yeah, no. So bye-bye. Broken furniture.
Oh, happened.
4 times.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. Sammy never got shamed for going to Stanford. But we saw Dad's journal 5 times, mostly in Something Wicked. and someone dies. Well, we counted it twice, and then later in Hell House, you learn that girl, the first girl, didn't die.
Somehow. Didn't die. Not great for these episodes, but we know there's solid rules in some other episodes. Although the broken furniture rule, I like it.
That's a standby.
Yeah.
And, the shaming Sammy, I still think that's a solid rule because it happens 5 times in episode 4.
Right.
Hookman and Bugs. So, we're getting close to the end, so, we're only 2 episodes away at this point from the end. Like, we're going to have, like, our closeout episode where we evaluate all the rules, how they played, as many times as we played them, and, like, we're going to have to finalize what our choices are to be the perfect Supernatural Season 1 drinking game. Keeping in mind that people can either do what we're doing and draw out 2 randomly, or play all of them at the same time.
Yeah. Or put them up on a big board, and if you're with a bunch of friends, everyone gets to choose some or draw them.
Oh my god. So what? Oh, and then also we forgot to mention that the old lady is in room 237.
Yes,
which I think we mentioned a couple episodes ago, is that they're always referencing 237, which is a Shining reference. All right, well, be a shoe, be a Nike. Be sure to tune into our next episode of Gank That Drank. We will be watching Providence and Dead Man's Blood. And Providence, I think, is the one where I know there's a cryptic Easter egg, so that's exciting. And we are going to be playing along with new drinking game rules, so be sure to join us.
Do you have a suggestion for a drinking game rule? Maybe a cocktail? Did you play along and want to let us know how it went? Then comment on the blog mostexcellentpod.com or join and comment at our Most Excellent Facebook group.
As always, you can find out more on mostexcellentpod.com. And if you're in the Phoenix area, you can find Chrissy and Nate in their actual physical form at the National Comedy Theater, NCT, or find us online at nctphoenix.com.
We're not spirits.
We're not. Don't shoot us with rock salt. Also, exciting announcement. I don't know. I might cut this out, but exciting pre-announcement. We might be doing a live episode of Gank That Drank at the Big Pines Comedy Festival in Flagstaff, Arizona. So maybe you can see us there.
Heck yeah.
Teaser. Hopefully more information coming on that soon. All right. Thanks for listening. And while you're out there saving people, hunting things, the family business, keep your Gank That Drank lessons learned in mind. Don't go in that haunted place. Don't judge a book by its cover. And, come on, moms, especially single moms. Don't let handsomeness get past your natural defenses. We'll see you next time. And be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.